Hello and welcome back to Frank's School Today, the 71st day. The number 3. I want to talk about the number 3 in music and in verse. And I guess I'll start maybe with verse. We gather together. We 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Gather together to ask the Lord's blessings. We 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Anapestic is in triple time. I could call it triple time. Dactylic. Strong week. This is the forest primeval, the murmuring. Or let's see, there's a Christmas carol that's in dactylic. I'll come to it as I go through Christmas. But anyway, in verse it's there, and we gather together was in triple time. Well, the music also was. We gather together to 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. You could waltz to it. 6/8 is another form of triple time, and we'll come to some Christmas carols that are in 6/8 as well. Well, now I'm speaking already about music. I got interested in this number 3 because there was a point where I wanted to experiment with drumming. Not to become a great drummer, but I've studied drumming academically. And I ran into this, that there are sometimes drumming in Africa and in India, the drumming is unbelievable. And sometimes you've got drumming patterns that are based on 5. But in Western culture, it's mostly 2 and 3, to some extent 3, but it seems like 3 is dying out. But I ran into the idea that 3, as a metrical form, I couldn't find it again. I researched it, but I couldn't find it again. Somebody said that it seemed to identify Northern European cultures in the world. That was an area where they used 3 in their meter, or the Indo-Europeans perhaps it was. It was just a theory, and I couldn't find it. But there is lots of study about the significance of the number 3. Now in triangles, I had already shown you that a triangle is rigid. It is a very strong form. Elsewhere in the course I showed that, whereas 4 sways. So in a way, 3 is stronger than 4. In religion, the idea of a triune God, Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. Well, the Catholic Church and many Protestant churches subscribe to that idea, that it's 3, but it's 1. 1 is 3. Very hard to understand. There's drawings to try to show it. It's a difficult concept. But then there are other Protestants that reject that to the extent that I think that kind of argument was central to the 30 Years' War. That should have been capitalized. The 30 Years' War, which devastated Germany. The war among Protestants. It wasn't just Protestants against Catholics. Protestants fought among themselves as well. And so it was very significant, this idea. And the Christian religion is not the only one that uses 3 as something very important. I suspect the Masons, Order of Masons, with their triangles like that. Anyway, in music, a waltz is in 3. Da, 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 da. That's the Merry Widow Waltz, or in German it's Lippenschweigen, I think. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. And it's really fun to dance, a waltz, but it's disappearing. I mean, young people basically don't know how to do it. A jig is a very fast. That's the Irish washerwoman. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. That also is in 3. But in the modern world, you march to 2. 1, 2. Well, you start there. 1, 2, 1, 2. So in a way, it's almost natural. That why wouldn't it be 2? You've got 2 hands. Boom, 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 boom. And I once joked with different people, with students, what would it look like if an army marched to 3? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. I guess you could do it. It might be kind of scary. Just yesterday I was joking with a man saying, bagpipes and marching bands were originally intended to scare the enemy. Well, what would the enemy think if an army came at them marching in 3? maybe see you dance in 3. You march in 2. And why I'm talking about this so much now is because Christmas carols, in a hymnal, here I've got, no, I took it upstairs. In a hymnal, if you go through and just look at the meter, most hymns are in 2 or in 4. 2, 2, 2, 4, 4, 4. Not very many are in 3 until you hit the Christmas season. But in the Christmas season, so many are in triple time, and I'll point them out as we go through. And part of it is because Christmas carols, that originally meant a dance, a circular dance. Christmas carols really began as dances, collective dances. And this was disallowed by the Calvinists. I talked about this in terms of the English, the Revolution, the English Civil War under Cromwell. They disallowed carols because if you could tap your foot to it, they thought that was too visceral. You couldn't be doing that. And it's one of the reasons I got rethinking the idea that We Gather Together was the first hymn in that hymnal. Oh, it's in 3. It's in 3/4. That's scandalous, and probably was so to some. Rock and roll is always in 2. Rock and roll is never in 3, I don't think. So maybe I've gone on a little bit too much, but I'm going to be hitting this again because I'm going to be pointing out the presence of the number 3 throughout the Christmas season. I hope you've listened. See you next time.